You're new enough. You haven't heard my cousin Allie's story. I have a cousin Allie who, if you, I don't know the Sandy. Do you work with Sandy Paxton as our productivity coach? Or okay, so I was the productivity coach for a number of years here, and a lot of what I did when I came into the office was productivity coaching. Like when I'm not doing something, I don't spend a ton of time in the office. Like I'm out and about. So I would always be like, hey, I'm headed into I got to be at the office Tuesday. Or like my mom and my uncle would always communicate. And so my cousin Allie and her husband Matt had a $400,000 house, sorry, a 350 house in Blue Springs. And they bought about a $500,000 house in Brookside. And I found out about both of them on a Facebook post that she made. And I was like, I called her. I'm like, Allie, what do you do? Like, who'd you use? I'm a real estate agent. She was like, you are? I thought you were like a coach or something. They spent $900,000 in real estate trans. That was $27,000 worth of GCI because she didn't know that I was a real estate agent. Awesome.
$1 million worth of listing.
Yeah. Yeah. That's 30,000 in GCI.
So she brand new, and we're cousins, but we don't hang out every day.
That is a much better pair.
But
Oh yeah.
so I list her house. She won't let me do open houses. She don't budge on the price. Everything I'm telling her to do, she won't do. And then she's like, "We're just going to take it off the market," because she's a teacher. So I'm just going to take it off the market because I'm doing that toys. Can't handle it. We don't have to sell it. And I was like, "Well, if we would just do these things, here's like a 5-week thing. I think we could do." And she's like, "I just can't do it. It's too stressful." And then she texts me a week later. We totally were not going to list it, but Stacy Nichols' agent called me, and they're going to stage it for free. They did open houses Friday night, Saturday night. They dropped the price to exactly what I told her. Did everything I told her to do, including the staging she wouldn't let me do, and sold it. And then they bought another house. I was like, that's my very first deal ever. I was like, that's literally. I mean,
You don't talk to her anymore, do you?
I don't care, but it was literally because she knew I was brand new. I think she just didn't.
She didn't give credit to anything that you were saying.
No, and did literally eat that.
Mhm.
I went in like my price thing, and he said, "This is what I think it is, whatever it was, $599 or whatever," and that is literally what they sold for. I had
Yeah.
Here's what we should do: stage it. We need to do this. I need to have some open houses, generate some heat around it, and she wouldn't even hardly let me do showings because she just stressed her out. She's like, "No, I can't get there to clean up." Her house was immaculate. I'm like, "Jenny, your house is fine. It's okay if there's one cup in the sink." And no, I just can't. I just can't. Oh my God. They did open houses every weekend, Friday and Saturday for like 3 weeks and sold it.
Mm-hmm. And you wanted to do that.
Yeah.
And she was like, nah, we're good. Yeah.
Well, then Jake was with me. I don't know. She just got in her head that she just wasn't going to do it. She's very high strung. She just wasn't going to do it. And whatever, I thought, man, I want to go someday and ask that agent, how did you, because she was high strung and set on, and they didn't have to move. Like that was true. They didn't have to move in that moment.
Sometimes it's just somebody that they don't have a
My cousin.
personal connection with. They feel that they can get mad at it and get at it.
Yeah. That's true.
Well, I don't have to worry about anybody knowing if I sell real estate or not because I just had a birthday and every single birthday gift that I got
Was a real estate thing.
That's
All right.
sure.
Yeah. Stuff for your classroom. Yeah.
So my very good friend, she's like, so do you, it was like a random question, like if they wanted to buy some land and sell a house, I'm like, yes,
Uh-huh.
I do
Yeah.
that. Oh, I wasn't sure, or I didn't know if you helped them buy houses or if you just sold houses. I'm like,
Yeah.
the whole
I get questions like that all the time. Be like, I know you do commercial. Do you ever help anybody buy? I'm like, no, wait, why do you think that? Like, mm-hmm.
Whatever. If it's really
Yeah.
good, call me.
Right. Yeah. They don't. That's right. They don't. And it's really easy for us to get into the mindset of like, I don't overly explain the things that I think are super basic because I feel like, well, everybody knows that. They don't. And even if you're not in a transaction, if you spend any time in the office at all, you hear Tom talking about stuff and you hear Laura and Glenda talking about her. Like, I feel like I know how to list a house in Greenwood now because of all of the stories I heard about your Greenwood list. It's like, so I've heard a bunch of it. Other people, it's so interesting. Like, that we did this in one of our other classes. Somebody look on like Google or Safari real quick what the greater Kansas City population is. Not just like Kansas City, Missouri, but like the greater. Yeah. Yeah, it's just a little over 2 million, right? And there's how many licensed real estate agents in KCRAR? Yeah, it's about 13,000. So what percentage of 2.1 million people is 13,000 agents? Right. Where's Jake when you need him? Right? Here, I'll do it too. Let's see what we all come up with. I'm gonna put in like 13,000 agents exactly. And I'm gonna go with 2.1 million people. Yeah, 0.6. Yeah. So that's less than 0.5%, or it's right at 0.5% of people are actually real estate agents. Because if you look at like my social media feeds, half the people, if not more, that follow me on social media are other agents. And half the people that I follow are agents. And then whose is it? Is it must be a bank's? It's Lisa. No, it might be a bank. Oh, wow. That's interesting. I'm not sure who's online. Sorry, we've got a car in the parking lot that keeps honking. Yeah. That's me. Who who didn't silence their phone? Whose phone's ringing? Oh, me. So anyway, the point with that little exercise is just for us to identify that not everybody in Kansas City is a real estate agent. In fact, most people aren't. And I also think this too in my head. I'm like, well, everybody knows a real estate agent. They don't. Yeah, they do. All the people that know a real estate agent, but there's 2 million people out there that a lot of those people don't have a connection with a real estate agent. I know this because we salvage a bunch of deals in our office where somebody, they were using Zillow and they got connected with the Zillow agent because they didn't know anybody. And then the Zillow agent that shows up didn't explain the process to them. They didn't have any idea what they were doing. They didn't have them sign a buyer agency agreement. They didn't do this. They didn't do that. Nothing wrong with Zillow buyer agents. They're fine. But my point is, when you don't have that connection, oftentimes they don't get the best introduction to the real estate business. So then that leads us to where we are today. You have a bunch of things like that happen where a client is like, oh, we're just going to take it off the market. And then next week you see they sold it with somebody else, or your cousin posts $30,000 worth of commission that they didn't give you because they didn't know you were a real estate agent. So shame on me, right? So you get halfway through the year and your gusto from the beginning of the year starts waning. And even if you're having a killer year, like Stephanie Finn just walked in, the Finns are crushing it this year. Sometimes when you're crushing it, it's really easy to let your foot off the gas a little bit. And you're like, hey, some of the agents in our office this year, they've made more money than they've ever made in their life. And they're on track to just absolutely blow a goal out of the water. And so then they start thinking like, man, it's summer and there's some things that I want to do. The kids are out of school. The weather's nice, or the weather's so hot. I kind of just want to like hang out by the pool today and not like actually work and get in and out of houses. And so I think maybe it is Stacy's. So where we're at today is a mindset and motivation renewal. And what do we do to fight through the fog of the dog days of summer or the lack of motivation when we have a client that pulls their house from us and then they give it to somebody else, or when your family member hires somebody and says that they didn't know you're a real estate agent, even though literally I wear my name tag like to family dinner to make sure that everybody knows, but whatever. The 5-step roadmap is this. So if you're taking notes today, we are going to have a little bit of a framework. And it's designed to clear mental debt. So what mental debt looks like for me is I kind of keep like a to-do list or like a running game plan in my head. However, if you know how I operate, I am a very ADHD type of personality, and I'll start a bunch of things and then not finish one. And then I move on to the next thing and not finish one. And then Glenda calls and she's got something cool going on. And so then I jump over and I pause this and I do the thing with Glenda. And then I'm coming back in and I'm getting back into this thing. And then Laura's got a thing to talk to me about. And I'm like more excited about that than the other stuff. And before long, I've got 97 open tabs on my computer browser. And so what that looks like for me is I'm not operating in my most efficient when I have that many tabs open. When I have a bunch, I've got mental debt, I've got thought and logic load on my brain that's hard for me to process through. So you guys have heard what an example of eliminating mental debt is. Gary Keller does it, our fearless leader. Mark Zuckerberg does it. I think Jeff Bezos is doing it now too. What does Gary Keller wear if you've ever seen him on stage, Laura? What do you usually see Gary Keller wearing? What color shoes does he wear? What color shirt does he wear? What color jeans does he wear? If he wears a blazer, what color blazer does he wear? He always wears black shoes, black jeans, black t-shirt. It might have a KW logo on it, but he wears the same thing all the time. Why? Because he doesn't want to add on to his mental debt. So he opens up his closet and everything is the same. And he goes click, click, click. He has 47 pairs of the exact same pants. There's no like, have any of you guys ever got into your closet and you burn up like 5 minutes trying to figure out what you want to wear? I did that today for a different reason. I actually grabbed a white polo shirt and it was one that was like not a wrinkle-free one. And so I like just pulled it out. And then when I unfolded it to put it on, it had like a crease like this and a crease like that. And I was like, well, I'm not going to iron today. It's too hot for that. I'm not going to put on like a warm iron shirt. So I changed my shirt. But if I had 47 black polo shirts, that would have been an easy choice. So what they're doing is they're eliminating mental debt on things that don't really matter. Would it have mattered to you guys if I wore a white polo over a blue one? Wouldn't have even noticed. If I wasn't talking about it, you wouldn't have noticed because we were focused on the program, not my outfit. And Gary knows that to be true. You would. I know. Yeah, you probably would. You're OCD though. So yeah. So eliminating mental debt is one way to stay sharp. So we're going to talk about some tips on how to clear mental debt and then align on purpose. So what is your purpose for the year? What's the goal? Whether it's business, whether it's personal. You've heard the analogy of the big rocks first. Put your big things on the calendar at the beginning of the year, the non-negotiables, right? Our trips to mega camp and family reunion, right? Those go on the calendar first, and then we schedule around those. Your family vacation goes on the calendar first. Any big dates, anniversary, Valentine's dinner, your spouse's birthday, whatever it is, those go on the calendar first, and then you work around those. And I'm so guilty of misaligning on what my purpose is. For example, it's very easy for me to go, well, I mean, August 18th, I am not showing any houses in Kansas City, am I? Nope, because I won't be here. I'll be in San Antonio with Laura. So, yep. So I won't be here. It's very easy for me to go, I can't show houses that day. I'll call Derek and see if he's available. Maybe I can pay him a showing fee and he can go show it for me. But what about if I say, hey, I'm going to go out to a family dinner. I'm going to meet my family at Jose's down the road at 5:30. And then a buyer calls and they're like, Tim, I know we've been working together for a while. I think the house you sent me today, I think it's the one. Can we go see it at 4:30? I'm the guy who's like, well, what was my purpose there? My purpose is spending time with my family. And then when somebody calls and they want to go look at a $500,000 house an hour before I'm supposed to be at dinner, I'm really tempted to go show that house, right? My family will understand. And then what happens, my family's at Jose Peppers and they're texting me like, hey, what time are you going to be here? What do you want us to order you? And I'm trying to respond to them and be present with my client. And then all of a sudden, like my mental load just starts waning. I'm not showing up for my family. I'm not showing up as my best self for my client. I'm frustrated because I thought that we were easily going to be able to walk through that house in 45 minutes and I could still get to Jose Peppers. But instead, the client is wanting to like dissect every little detail of the house, all those things. I know I'm the only one who does that. Nobody else does. Those things, that's out of alignment on what my purpose was. And so goes for my goal for the entire year. It's really easy for me to go, I'm going to sell 30 houses this year. Cool. Let's go do it. And then the first nice weather day, and Ryan texts me and he's like, hey, let's go play golf. And I'm like, oh, yes. Well, golf doesn't help me. Sometimes it does. Golf typically doesn't help me sell 30 houses a year, right? But touching and making care calls with my database does, and hosting a client appreciation party does. And where did those things happen? So sometimes I get out of alignment on my purpose. So we'll talk about how to do that. Eliminating noise. What are some examples of noise? It's not the radio station, is it? What kind of things show up as noise in your daily life?
Family wanting you to do something.
Why do they want you to do something? Yeah. I mean, you don't have to go into the office, Glenda. You can kind of work whenever you want. Could you go do this for me? My daughter is she is the guiltiest violator. She'll like text me, Dad, can you bring me Taco Bell? I'm working. Like just because I'm not like stuck on somebody's time frame. No, I can't bring you Taco Bell. Like figure that out on your own, right?
I have a 1.5-year-old grandson. She won't let me drive him around to work.
Mm-hmm.
But she wants me to come sit there. And
Yeah.
mess with them. Like,
Yeah. How many of you guys have had like an 8 to 5 job or a regularly scheduled, maybe it's not 8 to 5, but 7:30 to 4:30 or whatever, right? Like how many times did you just schedule, except for Tom, how many of you guys scheduled at 10:15 a.m. to go get your hair cut? Lisa, you're just going to hop up and you're going to leave and go get your hair done.
not very often.
Not very often, right? What about running and picking up your prescription? How many of you guys just do that at 3:00 in the afternoon? Right? Like when you had a job, it was like, you weren't just like, hey, I'll be right back. I'm going to run and grab a drink at Sonic and go get my prescription. And we just don't do that because we're on someone else's dime. And yet when we're on our own dime, it's really even more precious to watch those minutes. But the noise creeps up, and the noise, elimination of noise is probably the number one thing for success in this business. Noise is what kills more real estate businesses than any of this other stuff. It's the noise, because we go take care of like the little miniature fires that pop up all the time. Well, what happened when you were working for the school district and you were stuck in central office and you can't just leave and go deal with all the little things, right? It becomes a business killer. I remember one time there was it was called Jose Miguel's. It was a Mexican restaurant in Blue Springs. And we were eating, and our server, like you could tell our server was just really bummed out. And so we're like, hey, anything we can do to help you out? And she was like, no, I'm just super bummed. She had ran over a nail on her way in, and she could see her car in the parking lot through the window, and her tire was like totally flat. So she knew she was going to have to deal with that when she got off of her shift. But she showed up to work, she did her whole shift and dealt with it afterwards. And now I think about that, man, if one of our cars had a nail in it out there, we'd be like leaving the office and running over to Firestone and just dealing with that. And it happens and it needs to be dealt with. But when it was on someone else's dime, it was like, well, I'm just going to have to deal with it after work. Whereas we go deal with the noise, and it always compromises our business. And then the compounding of daily disciplines. That's probably the number one thing that agents get wrong in here. Laura, you've done a lot of James Shaw's stuff, and people ask James all the time because James is highly successful in the KW ecosphere. James is like, okay, what's the one thing I need to do? Or hey, Stacy, seriously, what should I do tomorrow that's going to like revolutionize my business? There ain't nothing you can do in one day that's going to revolutionize. There's not one single thing that's going to blow your business up. It would be like me eating whatever I want and doing whatever I want all year long. And then the last day of the year, Tom, I am literally going to work out 24 straight hours in a row at the gym. I am going to crush it. I'm going to throw as much weight on as I can. No amount that I could possibly do at the gym in one day is going to negate what I did all year long, right? Just like eating a salad. I can't just eat one salad and then eat cruddy all the other time. Be like, well, I ate a salad. I don't know. I stepped on the scale the next morning and my weight didn't change. Right. Your body's still processing the 4 other days worth of crap that's stuck in your system. Right. Like, so that's what happens though in our business. Gary says that if you want to be really successful in real estate, be prepared to do the boring thing day in and day out. Well, it's not always exciting for me to grab and go through my DTD2, my doing the database to list, and send out care text messages to all of my people. It's valuable, but it's not always the most exciting, especially when I see like some of my friends group, like they're out on the golf course and they're taking selfies and making fun of each other. And I'm like, and I'm working. And sometimes I'm working like in my car. That's the worst because I'm like, where could my car drive right now? Where could it take me? But it's those little daily disciplines that add up over time. I can't sit down at the gym and crush out a bunch of weight and have a bodybuilder physique, but I can go to the gym for 20 to 30 minutes every day or every other day or 3 days on, 2 days off, whatever that looks like. If I do it consistently all year long, should it have been made a noticeable difference by the end of the year? Yeah. Versus me being a couch potato all year or going and doing the daily discipline, absolutely. I'm going to look better. I'm going to feel better. I'm going to be healthier. And our business looks like that when we give it the daily disciplines. That's probably one of my biggest struggles. And sometimes you guys have seen it whenever I show my command, when I open command up on the screen, and you'll see that I have like 457 tasks that are overdue. And I'm like, there's no way that I have ignored 457 tasks, but we do, because sometimes I'll go like, it seems like I just logged into command and got caught up. It was 10 days ago. A lot happens in 10 days. People cancel our listings and then go and get it under contract with another agent in 10 days. That's happened. A similar story has happened to us too. Like, I get it. So we're going to jump into this roadmap and we're going to get out of here on time so that I don't mess up your schedules if I can figure out how to use the technology.
With the mouse. Maybe.
Oh, you're right. I see it. This guy right here. I think you're right. No, okay. All right. I broke it. What is it? What about this? Does this work? Oh, no. You're going to want to see it. I know you are. It's really amazing. Oh, here you go. We'll use the mouse. That's perfect. The mouse worked. The mouse can work. All right. We are going to get into reflection. First off, in order to continue on our journey or to get where we're going, we got to know where we're at, right? That's the first thing that our maps software does, whether you use Google Maps or your Apple Maps. It pinpoints your current location so that it can route to where you need to go. So what story does the first half of your year tell you? True progress begins with objective clarity. So knowing where we're at, what did the beginning half of the year look like for us? What did January say? What did February say? What did March? How many of you guys had some wins? You at least had one win so far this year. Yeah, right? What was one of yours, Tom?
You know what? It was a great start to the year. It was kind of bang, 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 bang. And then I had stuff in the pipeline, like this is the greatest year ever. And then all of a sudden the stuff wouldn't come out of the pipeline, right? And, but I had a couple months drought and then the pipeline just kind of opened up and now everything's been out there.
Nice. Okay. Working feeding the pipeline. That's a great one, because if you continue to feed the pipeline, eventually stuff flows out of the other end of it, right? Yeah. Eventually it does. It might take a while. What's another win? Who else had a win this year? You raised your hand. You had a win.
Well, does it have to be real estate?
No. Great. She visited more Buc-ee's this year than no. Good. Sometimes that's the win, right? It's not always about selling more houses. Sometimes it's creating more time in your schedule. This year. Do what?
19 days overseas.
Yeah. London,
Scotland.
Scotland, Ireland. That's a win, right? Those are bucket list items. Yeah. Now you got to get back to work and rebuild the storehouse. Own your setbacks without making excuses or dwelling on shame. Shame gets us trapped too. Sometimes we don't want to admit where we're at because we're ashamed. Lonnie does a great job of opening his office door and having wealth building conversations with people. And the first thing that you got to do when you decide to build wealth is evaluate where you're at. Well, let's see your balance sheet. Let's see your net worth. What's your net worth right now? And there's no shame around it because we've all done dumb stuff with money, right? I have. I'd love to do dumb stuff with money. It's a blast. We've all done dumb stuff with money. We have to evaluate and honestly say, where am I and what are my setbacks? What's been my biggest setbacks this year? Sometimes it's when one of those things happen. I'm like, dadgummit, I suck. I'm going to go look for another job. Like, it's really frustrating because you can do everything right and still not drag something across the finish line. That can absolutely happen. Most of the things that I feel like happen in my business that's negative, most of the bad things that happen was something that was completely out of my control. I had no control over the outcome of what happened. Now, I do have control over how to make it be less impactful in my life. So for example, if I have one closing scheduled for this month and something happens and that closing falls through, maybe the buyer's financing falls out or whatever, and that doesn't get to closing, I'm bummed because I didn't have any control over the buyer's financing. And so now I'm going to be scrambling because my income has a huge hit in it for this month. But is there something that I could have done to make that less impactful in my life? Yeah, what is it?
More income that month.
Yeah, I could have had 3 houses in escrow going to closing or 5 houses. And if one of them doesn't close, bummer. And also, it's not a deal breaker for me. Or I could budget accordingly. I'm gonna sell 30 houses this year, but I'm gonna set my budget as if I sold 25. So then that way, when one of them doesn't close, I had margin in there. Because what will happen is if a house doesn't close this month, oftentimes it pushes into the next month. Or sometimes like that deal falls apart and the buyers are like, hey, I think we're going to take a break. That was really emotional for us. And then they pop back on the radar 6 months later. So if you can weather those ebbs and flows, that's going to be a budgeting item for me. And if I can deal with the economics of it, then it's less impactful to me. So owning some setbacks without making excuses or dwelling on the shame. This is how we honestly evaluate where we currently are. There's no shame that Tim Krabiel was super lazy and didn't want to do any lead gen last week. There's no shame in that, but I have to own it. I have to realize the reason I don't have 5 closings happening this week is because I wasn't doing lead gen, or I wasn't hosting open houses, or I didn't have that client appreciation party. Because if I had done all those things, I would have probably 5 closings coming up this week. So there's no shame in it. It's just, it is what it is. And now what do I want to do with it? So owning those. And then identify habits that propelled you forward versus holding you back. What habits are in my life that boosted me forward towards my goal or my game plan? And it might not have been selling houses. It might have been getting out of town and going and doing the thing that going to chasing James Shaw all over the world, right? Like, in Laura's case, what was it? What was joining his mastermind group, right? Hey, if I want to have the results that some of these other people are doing, what do I want to do? I want to be around them. So Laura, and hers, I don't even know if yours was even around selling houses more so than just the environment that they create, because they are absolutely, James's group, if you haven't followed any of James Shaw's stuff, he does the Pivot Shift Ahead group on Facebook, and it's phenomenal. And he has absolutely an abundance mindset. He has created a lifestyle and a business within Keller Williams that literally there is more abundance in this world than one person that could ever wield. And so he operates in that abundance mentality, and it's very attractive. I mean, it's awesome to be around because our country literally prints money. Like, there's no lack of money. There's no lack of income. It's just a matter of, do we have a lack of getting our hands on it? And so he's really awesome because he has such an abundance mentality. It's like, hey, we're going to do our mastermind in London this year, or Florida, or wherever. Like, it doesn't have to be a Zoom call. You can go and they can create awesome experiences out of them. And so the first thing that she did was join the group.
Yeah, but
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I mean. It wasn't just about selling houses. So one of the habits that propelled her forward was engaging the mastermind group. For me, like if I want to be healthier, one of the biggest habits for me is either running or going to the gym every morning. If I knock that out before my day gets going, I'm like, one, I don't like to feel tired and behind the eight ball in the mornings. If I just get up and get my butt out onto the trail or into the gym, 45 minutes later, I'm like wired. I mean, I am wide awake and I can come home. It doesn't matter if the sun's up. It doesn't matter if it's 108 degrees outside or if it's -8 degrees outside. It doesn't matter. I come home and I'm like ready for the day. Yeah, I hate getting up and getting out of bed when it's still dark out and it's 4 degrees outside and you can see your breath. I hate that. But just 45 short minutes later, I'm like pumped and I'm ready for the day and I feel like I already won the day and it hasn't even started yet. Like I love that feeling. And that's a habit that it might help me sell houses and it might not, but it helps me to enjoy my life better because I feel better about the day. I also know that if I feel better about the day and I feel better about myself, that just shows up in the energy that I bring to the table. And so that's more attractive to do business with. Clients are like, hey, I like this guy or whatever, instead of like, man, like he looks like he got ran over by a car. He has a bad attitude. He's a Debbie Downer. Like nobody wants to work with that, right? They want to work with when somebody feels like they've got it all together. That shows up in my attitude. So it's habits that propelled me forward, getting up and getting out of bed and getting my workout done. Habits that held me back, having pointless meetings with no agenda. Now, it's different if you just want to get together with a friend and just blow off a couple of hours together or blow off 30 minutes or have coffee and hey, I just want to catch up with you, Laura. That's one thing if that's your goal and that's the game plan. Yet I can't tell you in the first half of the year how many coffee or lunch meetings that I went on. And I just went and I was like, hey, this is going to be cool. I'm going to get some FaceTime with Lisa. Maybe it turns into business. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. And I go and I meet with Lisa and we have a great lunch and it costs $80. And so that's not great, right? That it cost $80 and we have a good lunch and then that's it. And then what? And I didn't follow up. I didn't have a purpose. I just thought that like meeting with Lisa was going to turn into something, and maybe it does at some point and maybe it doesn't. Versus, hey, Tom, can we grab coffee on Wednesday? I would love to talk about how our electrical business could align with O'Connor real estate team. And maybe we could find ways to kick you business or help you guys out or make you more valuable to your client. And we'll talk about that for 5 or 10 minutes and anything that you want to talk about. And then we'll just chit chat for a little bit. I just really also want to catch up with you. And then Tom isn't blindsided when I start talking about business because we set it up front. And I came forward with a value proposition like, hey, is there a way that we could make you more valuable as a real estate partner? In return, we'd love to get more of your business. Is there something that we could do that would add more value to your clients? And then we have a purposeful coffee meeting with an end time. And then I leave. So I had some coffee meetings and lunch meetings that held me back this year because I met with my one buddy, Mike, and we just got to talking and chit-chatting. And next thing I know, I had taken an hour and 47-minute lunch break. Again, if I worked in corporate America, an hour and 47-minute lunch break, plus I got to drive back to the office, like that doesn't work in reality, yet I thought for some reason it would work in my real estate business. So identifying those types of things, no matter how major or how minor they might seem, they all impact our business in a specific way. So being conscious of those, you can't improve what you won't acknowledge. It's okay if the only thing that I want to do is have 2-hour lunch meetings with Lisa and talk to Tom about the air. And also it's going to impact my business in a negative light unless I offset that time somewhere else. So here's what this mid-audit looks like. Take your scratch paper and write 3 wins. 3 key victories to reinforce capability or confidence. What are 3 wins that you had that you're like, I actually did do that well. I'm proud of myself. What are 3 wins? It's been a while and I hope, can I pick on you, Glenda? Glenda's like, no, but thanks. You already did. So you might as well, jerk. There was a time when I would have said Glenda was not very confident going out and being an agent. She was in every class because she was so worried about making a mistake. She wanted to be the best agent for her clients. So what did she do as a win for that? She went to freaking every class we had. If there was something to learn, I promise you Glenda was at it. Well, guess what? Now I think she's probably one of the most competent agents in our office because she's heard it, she's listened to it, she's heard other agent stories. Probably you're not the agent that sold the most properties in our office, but you're also a newer-ish. You haven't been in the business for 30 years. So it's really hard. You have to really go fast if you want to do more business than the people that have been doing it for 20 years. My point with that is, what did she do to reinforce her capability or confidence? She learned. She took advantage of the learning opportunities, and now she knows. 3 lessons that you pulled away from your year. Extract insights from 3 setbacks to sharpen your future strategy. Strategy? That didn't sound right coming out. Stacy, there might not have been anything that you could have done differently on that listing, but was there anything that you learned from it?
Yeah. Well,
Yep.
that was a while ago, but now it feels like a lifetime ago. It's not that.
Yeah, that was when you were a new agent.
New, brand new. But
Mm-hmm.
when I was looking at that just now, I was thinking, I kind of jumped over the habit, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're good.
Is random scheduling. Like I need to get back on, because now I have some business, and so I've got, I'm looking up for all these people and showings and things, but I need to get back. I have a random scheduling right now. I need to get back to a structured as much as you can, because I feel like that impedes, the consistent things that got me $1 million May month.
Absolutely.
Because January through May, so quiet, or January through April, so I was really good at the habits and the
Yes.
and just the persevering. And then when you get business and you're so busy in your business, you don't work on your business. So I need to get back.
Congratulations, you're a real estate agent. That's what happens, right? When we're slow, we do all the things to get business. Then we got all this business and we don't do any of the things to get more business because we're so busy managing the business. And so your business always looks like this. I'm managing all this business that I have. Now I have none. I got to do all the things to get business. Now I've got all this business and I'm managing. So that's where the leverage piece comes into this. And it's really hard to leverage because you think like, man, I got to do this. Nobody's going to do it better than me. Like I got to be at this thing. I got to be at that. I want to be at all of my people's closings. I want to be at every inspection. Well, what happens if I'm selling 200 houses a year? I can't be at every closing. I can't be at every inspection. So I need to treat it now as if I'm an agent that closes 200 deals a year. And then I control my schedule. I don't miss dinner at Jose Pepper's with my family. I guarantee you there's always an agent in the office that's like, I'm willing to show a house. You're going to pay me $40 just to go and open the door and chit chat with your clients for 30 minutes. I'll totally do that. That's an incredible use of your time, right? And then I'll go to Jose Pepper's. I'll see you there. Okay, 1 habit to eliminate, a single elimination. Don't worry about all the things that could be undermining your business. Just pick one. A single habit to eliminate. Identify the single most destructive habit draining your energy or focus. Cut the single friction point to immediately unlock bandwidth for Q3 and Q4. What one thing could you eliminate right now? Who wants to share one? Lisa, do it.
We always talk about, previously, when I was working, we had a saying, eat your frog. So
Yeah.
things first.
Swallow the frog first.
Sometimes I push that frog aside and I keep myself very busy on a lot of tedious little tasks. And that is where I find that 3 hours goes by and
Yes, it does.
Nothing but, a really nice Facebook post that distracted me.
Sure.
Because I really need to be doing this, which maybe I'm a little more hesitant to do. Picking up the phone and calling people.
Yes. Which is what really pushes the needle, right?
Right. Yeah, I'm making, or I'm gonna read up on how to do this and datelines on in the background and, just complete, squirrely behavior.
Lisa, I love it because You haven't been here long enough to see, like, I'm you. We're the same person. With me, it's making a flyer.
Yes.
I would spend 4 hours making this awesome flyer. And I'm like, and when I'm done, I'm like, that was 4 hours. Meanwhile, Jake made 47 unique flyers using ChatGPT in 6 minutes in his office. And I'm like, what did I just do? Like, no wonder the dude's selling a lot more than I am, because he just did 47 times the work in a fourth of the time. But I'm like, I'm on Canva, all doing it. And he's just like, hey, ChatGPT, make me and it like, and his looks better than mine.
And I've got a really good chart. It looks pretty.
Yeah.
It's
Mhm.
organized. It's not producing anything. but
It
it's
doesn't matter, right? For me, the flyer, all it was so that I had something to show up with when I door knocked for an open house. It wasn't even the thing. It didn't matter. It could have been black and white, just text, and the people would have done the exact same thing with it. All it was to give me a reason to knock on the door, and I wasted freaking 4 hours on it. What you brought up made me think of, and as now I see that you can't even read it. All work expands to fill the time allowed. All work expands to fill the time allowed. If you needed me to make this class, do this outline, and you gave me 10 hours to do it, how long do you think it would take me to do the outline for this class? 10 hours. If you go, Tim, you've got 1 hour and I need an outline for a 1 hour class, guess how long it's going to take me to do it? 1 hour. So whenever you have a task like that you're working on, set an endpoint. And it doesn't have to be perfect, because if you had an hour to do it or 10 hours to do it, you're never going to think it's perfect. So you just back into it and you go, I got to have this done in this time. And whatever condition it's in, however, I can always go back and polish it later. I got to get it out the door. Imagine again, if you had a boss that was like, Glenda, I'm going to be back at 12:30 and I need this outline ready by 12:30. I'm walking in and I need to pick it up off your desk. Guess what? She's going to have it ready to go. Congrats on your closing, you guys. She's going to have it ready to go, and I'm going to pick it up off of her desk. She's going to have it ready to go. She may then turn around and tell Stacy, like, oh, like, it makes me cringe that he's going to use that. I wasn't done with it yet. I wanted it to look like, and guess what? I'm going to look at it and go, this is freaking awesome. I sweated it for about 4 seconds when I was like, why did Becca not get this? Why did this PowerPoint not get there? And guess what? None of you guys knew what the PowerPoint looked like. So if we didn't have it, I wasn't going to be like, hey, I'm so sorry, you guys. We should have had a PowerPoint and it broke down. Guess what? You didn't even know. So I would have just came in and just pretended like it was the Tim show and that there wasn't a PowerPoint that was missing, because then you guys are going to be like, well, I wonder what the PowerPoint looked like or what it had on it. But if you didn't know, we're just going to roll. So set a time limit for those things. And then whenever your time's up, whatever the product is like, ship it out. You can always retool it later. Apple's the perfect example of that. How many times does your phone get an update in the middle of the night? They didn't perfect it and then send the phone out. They're like, hey, the new software's out. What do? They want us to use it so that we can expose the weaknesses. Every time I do an open house, I have a checklist of the things that went really well and the things that didn't go well, and the one thing that I want to add to my package for next open house. Every open house is slightly better or different than the one before because I change one thing. And I learn and I see what happens. I started doing a QR code where if people want a digital copy of the seller's disclosure, they scan the QR code. Well, I did it a bunch of different ways, and I would be like, oh, did you scan that? Let me see how that looks on your phone. I haven't seen it on the user end before. And so then like I just start getting feedback, which is exactly what Apple does. They get our feedback and then they tweak it and then they send out an update and a patch. It's all we're doing in our business. So find one habit that's destructive or draining of your time and energy and eliminate it. Maybe it's hitting snooze for an hour in the morning. Maybe it's eating a big heavy lunch and then you're just like sluggish for 2 hours in the afternoon. Or maybe it's spending 19 hours making a flyer that ChatGPT or Gemini could have done in 2 minutes. For me, did any of you guys see the video that I posted on our Southland private page yesterday about this class? It was like a split screen and it was like David Goggins and Mel Robbins. And I was just like, I was playing their video and my face was there. And then I was like, hey, I love this video because, so here's what I did. I've seen those. I see them on social media all the time. And I'm like, my oldest daughter, Lydia, I'm like, she's like a TikToker, you know, I'm like, hey, how do they do like the green screen? Like, show me how to do that. And she's like, oh my gosh, Dad, don't do that. And I'm like, no, I need it for work. And so literally Lydia gave me like a 3-minute crash course. And then like, she was like, just give me your phone. And so I'm like standing over her shoulder and I'm watching it. I could have watched a YouTube video and figured out how to do it, or I deployed somebody at my disposal that literally showed me how to do that in 5 minutes. That literally took me 8 minutes in total to do. And it would have taken me 8 minutes to watch the video and then do part of it and then watch the video again and do part of it and then watch the video. For me, what is the single most? Trying to do things myself that's not in my wheelhouse. That's my habit that I'm eliminating. If it's not something that I can just pop off real quick, I don't need to learn something new, especially if it's a technology thing. I'm old enough now that I'm like, I was so pissed at TikTok yesterday. I'm like, well, I don't even know what any of the freaking icons mean. Like, how do I, what, like, why don't they have like a little guide where you can like touch the icon and it tells you what it is? And my daughter's like, you're so stupid, Dad. Like, it just means this, this, and this. I'm like, but how did you know that, right? And she's like, I don't know. It's just an intuitive app. And I'm like, shut up. Just help me do it. So my point is, I'm to the point now where some of the new technologies, do I need to use them? Yes. Do I need to know everything about them and how they work? No, because my 18-year-old daughter could do all of those videos in 4 minutes like Jake did with the flyers. And I could be like, I'll give you $50 if you can do 10 videos for me. It would be right? It would be the best $50 I ever spent. And Lydia would be like, pop, 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 pop. Here you go. That was easy. Wonderful. Best $50 I spent all year long, right? So it's identifying those things. What are we doing that we need to eliminate? Good? Anybody mad at me yet? Okay, cool. All right, reconnect with your purpose. One thing that happens as the year goes with all of the little noise, remember the elimination of noise? We get distracted from what our purpose was. What was the whole goal? What did I set out to accomplish this year? How many of you guys were at the business planning clinic at the end of last year? Right? We were there and we looked at our numbers, we looked at the data, and we road mapped out where we were going to go for 2026. You guys wrote on there how many listings I need to take, how many buyers I'm going to work with, what GC. We do all of that work, and then it stays in our notebook. We never look at it again. And then Lonnie walks by and he goes, hey, Lisa, how you doing on your goal? And you're like, good, I'm working it. Yeah. Are you ahead of it? Are you on track? Are you behind? Yeah, I'm working on it. Like, I don't know. How many listings have you taken this year? I don't know. How many closings have you had? Enough, but I could always use more. That's not a business metric. Yet, if we're working in corporate America, that does not cut it. That gets you fired. I need to see the analytics. I need to see the report. I need to see what Q1 looked like. I need to see our P&L statement. I need to see the business numbers. But in our business, we're just like, like I made enough to pay my bills, so I'm good. Like, that's not business, you guys. That's a hobby. That's not a business. Why did you start? Why'd you start this year? And what was the game plan? And what were you going to do? In bold, we do the checkbook. Remember the checkbook exercise? You got $100. I'm going to give you $100 right now. And you have to spend it and you can't pay bills with it. What are you spending the $100 on? Derek, if I give you $100 right now and you have to go spend it, what are you buying? Gas. He cheated. That's kind of a bill, I think, right? Shoes. There you go. Okay, you spent it. Day 2, you wake up, I give you $1,000. You can't buy gas and you can't pay bills. What are you spending $1,000 on?
Stock market.
He's putting in the stock market. Perfect. More shoes, right? And then it just keeps going. And the number keeps it just gets bigger and bigger to where it's like, all right, you wake up, you've got $10 million to spend. What are you doing with it? And the whole exercise is to make you realize there's people in the world that do that every day. It's not just like, hey, you've got $38,000 to spend this year and you're going to live on 20 of it. So you have $18,000 and you have to eat and you have to buy gas. Oh, you're upside down for the year. And now you're putting money on credit card. It's to help you understand what would I want to do in life if the money piece it wasn't an object. And so in this, motivation is emotional and it's temporary. You can come to a class, you can go to a conference. Like that always happens to me at the conferences. I'm like, yes, I am going to go. I'm going to sell 10 bajillion houses this year. And then I get here and my client's like, oh, by the way, we decided to wait.
Yeah.
And my lender calls and they're like, hey, actually, Lisa's not pre-approved anymore. She bought all this stuff on credit and her debt to income is crazy now. So, and then I'm like, all right, my pipeline only has 4 people in it now. Well, 4 people in my pipeline means over the next 2 years, 2 of them might get to the closing table, right? So then what happens to my motivation? It starts plummeting. It's temporary. Purpose is structural and enduring. Cool. I'm going to try and sell 10 million houses this year. I have 4 people in my pipeline. Lisa just bought a bunch of crap on credit. Tom's funding fell through, whatever it is. And I've got 4 people in my pipeline. What am I going to do? I'm going to go add 4 more people. And then as soon as I have 8 people in my pipeline, I'm going to add 4 more. Now I got 12. And now in the next 2 years, 6 of those are going to close. So I need more closings than 6 over the next 2 years. Guess what? I'm going to go add more people to my pipeline. And now I got a bunch of people and I start looking at my past clients and I'm like, Chiefs fan, nope. Chiefs fan, nope. Chiefs fan. I'm going to host a client appreciation party at Arrowhead and we're going to do a stadium tour. I did that last year. It was phenomenal. I'm going to do it again this year. These guys love fireworks. I'm going to pay everybody's entrance to Worlds of Fun and we're going to powwow and at the whatever ride and we're going to watch the fireworks. They always do awesome fireworks. Like whatever it is, right? I'm going to do a client appreciation party. And everybody that I'm inviting, I want them to invite somebody. So I'm going to invite 12 of my past clients and there's going to, some of them are going to have a +1. So there's like 24 people, but I want you guys all to invite your best friends, invite somebody that I need to know, invite your maybe date, whatever it is. And I want 50 people there and you're going to introduce me to 25 new people that I've never met before. And guess what? 2 of those people are going to get added to my pipeline, right? And so that's purpose and that's structural. I can't just magically hope that I close all those deals, but I can start doing the activities and I'm going to do them every day and I'm going to do them every week and I'm going to do them every month. And then all of a sudden my pipeline just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And like Tom talked, as soon as I get enough people in the pipeline, they start popping out of the other end. And if they're not popping out fast enough, then I need to start adding people in. When daily obstacles mount, emotional enthusiasm fades. That's the doldrums of life. All of a sudden, this doesn't become this like exciting career and like unlimited opportunities. It becomes another job that I work 1 billion hours and I don't make very much hourly pay. That's what this job can become if you don't do the right activities. You could work literally 7 days a week and make $18,000 a year, right? We've done that. I've done that. When daily obstacles mount, enthusiasm fades. Reconnecting with your core drive turns decision-making from a struggle into simple alignment. I don't need to worry about all the noise. I don't need to worry about the habit that was a distraction. I only need to worry about the one thing that connects me with my purpose. For me, I had to leave. My daughter, Andy, was home alone today. I left her to come to the class and she was like, oh man, when are you going to be back? And I was thinking like, man, you know what? Had I won the $600 million Powerball on Monday night, I probably would have been like, hey, class is canceled. Andy and I are headed to Colorado. Well, instead, I'm at class and Andy's at home by herself. And that's part of my purpose. I want that. Andy and I'm not trying to say a sob story. We went to Disney last month and it was just her and I, and we had the best time ever. And like nobody could tell us what to do. We got to do whatever we wanted. It was awesome. I want that to happen is whenever I want. If she's having like a rough week or whatever, I want to be like, let's get out of town. Let's go do that stuff. That only happens if I'm feeding my pipeline. So guess what? Every time I leave Andy, I'm jumping on my phone because I'm like, if I'm leaving her, then I'm making sure that I've got the opportunity to go on a fun trip with her, just do something, her and I. She's my youngest daughter. Key strategic questions to ask yourself. What am I building? Are you building an opportunity to take some trips, to like open up your mind to what's possible, to create some great relationships? Are you building a financial empire so that your kids and grandkids don't have to work the way that you did? Clarify what the tangible outcome is. What's the vision? What's it look like? The vision board, some people are like, those are dumb. I love vision boards because it stays in front of me until I've crossed the thing off. Every year when I've done a vision board, I've never crossed off everything that was on my vision board. And some things rolls from one year to the next. But since I started doing it, you know how many things I have crossed off of my vision board? It's been unbelievable. I look back at old vision boards. I'm like, oh my gosh, we did that. One of them, Andy and I just did. Like we want to go on a fun trip, just her and I want her to pick everything. So I'm like, and then we walked through it, and she literally planned our trip. She planned the airline. She planned our travel times. And I was asking her like, why are we taking that flight? Why are we doing like, we had the best time ever. And so now I know that like, as she grows, she's going to be able to be a great travel planner. She's going to be able to like get where she needs to go. Like we're going to keep working through that. It was just building those experiences. Who benefits? Identifying who benefits when you succeed is part of it. Because sometimes when that doesn't stay in front of us, it's like, Lisa, I'm fine. If I don't sell a house this month, like I'm probably not going to be homeless, right? But there was a time when if I didn't sell a house this month, I might be homeless. I'd be hoping Jake would let me sleep on his couch. There was a time, but now it's like, if I sell a house this month or if I don't, like it's not going to like make or break my life, but somebody will benefit if I sell a house. And I guarantee you it's going to be one of my daughters because we're going to go spend some time together, or we're going to fix something that's broke, or we're going to improve something. Like somebody's going to benefit, and they're people that I want to benefit. What if I quit? Acknowledge the true cost of your inaction. What happens if you stop moving forward? For me, if I did have to go back to that like 8 to 5 or the 7:30 to 4:30 or the 6 to 3 or whatever that job looks like, that actually costs me time for my girls. And they all the time are like, Dad, you work, it feels like you work all the time. Mm-hmm. And also count all the days that I didn't work and include the holidays and the trips. Like I feel like I work 6 months out of the year. But when I am working, I'm working all the time. So it's like, it's a give and take. Do you want to work Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and then have a little bit of time in the evenings and then a Saturday and Sunday off, but you're on somebody else's schedule? By the way, you only get 2 weeks of paid vacation. You get this holiday and this holiday. Or my schedule now is my holiday is whenever I want my holiday to be. If I want that 3-day weekend to be a 5-day weekend, it can be, yet I have to stay on track with what I'm doing in order to make that possible. We good? Okay. So don't quit. Here's my favorite, the Pareto principle. Vilfredo Pareto identified that 80% of his actions only led to 20% of his outcome. This is from the 6 personal perspectives. 20% of the things I do equate to 80% of the outcome. And it just plays true like everywhere. In the church world, oh man, you would have like the people that tithe and give and like do work and volunteer at the church. 80% of the stuff that gets done is done by 20% of the people. Who, like when you think about who volunteers, who sets up, who tears down, who cleans, who brings in food, it's the same people. And you've got all these other people that just come and they leave, and nothing wrong with that. It just is what it is. But without the 20%, nothing happens. And that's how it is in our business. 20% of the thing equates to the activities that equates to the results through our activities. The flyer that I spent 4 hours making, guess what? Nobody called me on the flyer, but the actual me door knocking and having a face-to-face conversation, that turned into something. The 4 hours that I spent making the flyer was a total waste of time. And the 34 minutes that I spent door knocking, I picked up an appointment. Well, what could I have done? Not spent 4 hours making the stupid flyer that looked subpar compared to Jake's that AI built in 7 seconds, right? What I should have done was just got out there and got door knocking, because that was a fraction. That was less than 20% actually, and it converted an appointment. Nobody called the number off the flyer. Nobody even scanned my QR code, because Google lets me see who scanned it because it automatically associates their phone number with it. Well, no one even scanned it. So why did I spend so much time making it? Again, my next flyer is going to look like this. It's going to have like my name and my phone number on it, and that's it.
Hey, Tim, it's Crystal online.
What happened?
I said, this is Crystal online.
Hey, hi, Crystal.
Hi. Hey, I just wanted to comment about making something and then like it not being perfect and continuing to do the thing. I made a flyer for an open house and I printed like, I don't know, 15 copies that were colored, of course. And I realized after I printed them that it said, I wanted the thing to say, this is a must see, and I miss an S and is. So it says, this, I, a must see. And so I fixed it and I only printed a couple. And I miscounted how many houses were on this street that I wanted to do and door knock. And so the next day, or right before the open house, I decided to go finish door knocking, and I handed out the ones that had a typo on them. And I actually ended up talking to an elderly gentleman for like 15 minutes about a plan to possibly help him sell his house when he's ready. And if I would have let that typo stop me, I would have never had that conversation.
That's a great share, Crystal. That's a great
Thanks.
share. Thank you for that.
You're
It's not,
welcome.
don't be perfect. Just be, right? So have you, you probably have experienced this too. Like when people sometimes will do that, like authors, they'll do a typo on purpose and then they get more interaction and more people calling, or you see like the comments on Facebook and somebody will say like, your brain still read this the right way. And like all the vowels were like backwards and stuff, but it just creates interaction. And there you go. Great share, Crystal. Thank you for that. I didn't realize how fast time had gone. So here we go. Step 3. This is the 80-20 principle. Pick top 3 priorities. Select 3 non-negotiable goals for the rest of the year. You guys got 5 more minutes? You do? Okay. If you need to leave, just leave because I don't want to hold anybody up. We can finish in 5 minutes. Select 3 non-negotiables for the rest of the year. If on December, I'm going to say Christmas Eve because nothing really happens between Christmas and New Year's. So on Christmas Eve, let's call that the last day of the year. We're going to take an inventory and go, okay, those 3 things that were non-negotiables for you, what were they and how'd you do on them? And if you didn't hit them, your family doesn't get to have Christmas tomorrow. What are they? That's what a non-negotiable is. A non-negotiable is nothing else matters. It's going to happen for me. So don't write something stupid down that's not attainable that you're not going to do. Something that's a non-negotiable for you. You know what a non-negotiable for me today is? Dinner. I'm not skipping dinner today. For some reason today, I need dinner. So even if like all these people call and they're like, hey, we want to go look at houses, and like, cool, I'm going to run through McDonald's if I have to, and I'm going to eat a cheeseburger on the way, but I promise you I'm going to have it. That's a non-negotiable for me. So is sleep tonight. If somebody was like, hey, I need you to do this, can you pull an all-nighter? Nope, thanks. That's a non-negotiable. So what thing is it that like you would literally throw on the line on your family's Christmas? Top 3. Eliminate distractions. Strip away busy work that creates false feelings of productivity. That's what Lisa was talking about earlier. Man, I feel like I was like working and I got all this stuff done. Awesome. How many pieces of business did it create for you? Well, none, but I worked I know. I can literally work 24/7 in this business and not make a dime. Eliminate those. Protect your calendar. Schedule non-negotiable deep work blocks for key tasks. All work expands to fill the time allowed. You want to know the most efficient you'll ever be is the day before you leave the country for a week, right? I promise you she's not missing that 5:15 a.m. flight, and she is going to scramble and get 487 things done the day before she leaves. And were they all perfect and done exactly the way she wished that she could have got them done? Nope, not one of them. But guess what? They were good enough and they got the job done, and then she was able to get out of town. Protect your calendar. Schedule it. Even if you're scheduling free time, I do that. This was a hard lesson for me. People will be like, hey, what are you doing tomorrow? There's nothing on my calendar, but I don't want to do your thing. I love you. And also I don't want to do your thing. That's hard for me to tell people. Well, now, guess what? I can't. Sorry. Thank you, though. I really definitely reach out to me next time, because next time might be a yes, but it's a no for me this time. Well, what are you doing? Doesn't matter. That you don't got to know what I'm doing, right? I might be sitting on the toilet, pooping and scrolling Facebook for 3 hours, and that's what I want to do with my time. Protect your calendar. Say no more often. Say no. How many of our top people, our top motivational speakers say that? They say no more than they say yes, because every time they say yes, it means they're saying no to something else. Are you passionately saying yes to it? If you're not, then it's a no. Because I'm Captain Yes. I love to say yes to people. And the more people I say yes to, the more watered down my response gets. And then I'm like, man, I got 47 things to do and I didn't do any of them very well because I said yes to too many. And it's not a personal thing, right? Like if you get your feelings hurt because you wanted me to do something and it was a no for me, that's on you. I'm not responsible for your feelings. And you don't know my list of priorities, and you might have just been wanting me to help you hit your priorities. And that's cool. Sometimes I'm the delegator and sometimes I'm the delegatee. Okay, number 4, build the daily disciplines. This is the number 1. This is how you get there. Build out your day. Know what your day looks like. My favorite, Cody Gibson's one of my favorite KW personalities. And Cody's like, I love to do what Cody loves to do, man. Like, I want to do what I want to do. And yet I can't do any of it without the income that I make. So here's what I do. I know what I need to do every day to hit my goal. And I do that first, and I get it done as fast as possible so that I can go do whatever I want to do. And that dude is wildly successful in our KW system, wildly successful. But what does he do? He works really hard for about 40 minutes and then he doesn't do anything else the rest of the day. He does whatever he wants. Physical discipline. If it's exercising, if it's eating well, awesome, put it on there. Mental growth. Read 10 pages daily to continuously upgrade your skills and mindset. Don't ever stop learning is what that means. Strategic planning. Plan the day, plan the next day before today ends. If you wait until you wake up and then you go, okay, what am I going to do today? You're already wasting time. Am I saying you have to run 1,000 miles an hour and be 100% efficient all the time? Nope, sure not. Just helping to eliminate redundant energy spends. If we can eliminate the redundancies, it just makes your life easier. It gives you more time to do the things that you are passionate about or that you do enjoy. So create the daily discipline. That's what Stacy was talking about. When it was slow and I didn't have business, I was sticking to my schedule and I was making the calls and I was sending out my handwritten notes and I was making some social media posts. But then I got really busy and all that stuff fell away. It can't fall away or you're always on the roller coaster and you never get going. I do this all the time. I'll get like 5 or 6 houses in escrow and I'm going to be like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have a $40,000 month. I don't need to worry about finances now. So right now, I need to pay somebody to go open the house for the inspection. I need to pay somebody to show these buyers. So that I can keep doing this. When I do that, I stretch 3 or 4 months together. And if you look at my reports, I rarely do that. That's what I need to do though. Now's the time that if I was going to buy leads to leverage my time, I do it now because I know I've got the income to cover it. Instead of servicing all of that work, and then I'm running 100 miles an hour and my only justification is, okay, I'm going to make $38,000 next month. And if I had a corporate America job, how many hours would I have to work every month in order to make that salary? Okay, it's okay for me to work 73 hours this week. No, it's not. It's not about your time. It's about your knowledge and your skill set and your ability to leverage. That's why it seems like some of the highest income earners in the world like hardly ever work. It's not because they're lazy. It's because they've leveraged and delegated at a really high level. So build the daily disciplines, the things that help you get to where you're going. Your 3 non-negotiables. What do you have to do every day to make that happen? And we can always work backwards, and this is a conversation for another day, but if you need help with it, I can help you reverse engineer your day. Well, I need 5 listings a month. Okay, well, if your conversion rate is 50%, you need to go on 10 listing appointments. And if you're talking to 50 people and getting 5 listing appointments, then that means you need to start talking to 100 people. So you need to start talking to 100 people, and we can reverse engineer that so that, okay, well, every of 100 people in a month, what is that? 25 people a week. Okay, cool. So that's only 5 a day. So if you're that efficient, let's start talking to 5 a day. Most of us aren't even talking to 5 people a day when it comes down to the reality. Power of consistency. Here you go. This is that one day at the gym at the end of the year versus going for 30 minutes every day, right? Consistency beats it every time. And that's also how you don't run out of energy. Pacing yourself, build the pace that's sustainable forever for you. Don't work your butt off for 3 weeks and then expect it to carry you. And you're like, I just can't do that forever. Right. I know. That's why you have to do the daily disciplines consistently, and then they compound over time. Because what happens is I may have to talk to 25 people this week in order to get my 5 listings. And then as business continues to go, and I keep doing that, and I get 5 listings and 5 listings and 5 listings. Well, guess what? At a certain point, I've called my 25 people and I got my 5 listings. But from way back here, when I helped this person, they go, hey, Tim, my sister is going to be moving and relocating. Can I give her your number? Please. Yes, please. And then these people go, hey, our daughter just got married and we want you to help her and her new husband find a house. And then these people go, oh, I got a job transfer. And then all of a sudden my 25 calls starts exponentially growing because my past business starts handing me referrals and becoming repeat clients. So your business will grow exponentially, but you have to build the foundation before that exponential growth starts taking off. And finishing the year like it matters. You don't need a new year to create a new direction. You need a new decision. It's just one decision. The next 6 months can completely transform your career, health, finances, and confidence. Commitment starts today. This is what happens when we go to Mega Camp and Family Reunion, which is the big like nation and worldwide KW conferences. They usually bring some of the top performers up on stage so they can share their business strategy and what they're doing. And Brandy, our team leader, Brandy, she's a perfect example of this. Brandy had like a breakout, like when she was rookie of the year. I don't know. Let's just say she sold like 25 houses her first year in business. I don't remember what the metric is. She was like, guess how many I sold the first 6 months? Nothing. It was all in the second half of the year. It was all in the second 6 months. There was one guy that all he did was send out golden letters. If you know about James Shaw's golden letter, it's you pick some areas, you pick some neighborhoods that are selling a lot of houses that maybe had multiple buyers for. And the letter basically said like, hey, a house was recently sold in your area. There was a lot of buyers that wanted it and only one set of buyers got it. If you or anyone you know in the neighborhood is thinking about selling, give me a call. And they just send out a bajillion letters and 3 people call, right? So if you want 6 people to call, you got to send out 6 bajillion letters. And all this dude did was he started sending out letters, because he was like, I don't know anybody. I don't have anybody to call. So he just started sending out letters. And then after a while, the calls started coming in. He sold like 118 houses that year. And in the first 4 months, 0. Because it took time to start compounding. So honestly, Q3 and Q4, those are the ones because we've got a lot of people that want to get in before the holidays, get in before the end of the year, get in before winter. So it's not too late. Pedal to the metal, mash it down. Okay, I ran over. I'm so sorry. Thank you. Get out of here. Okay, bye.
Yeah.
Any questions, thoughts, any help, anything? Okay.
Thank you.
The 80-20 principle. That's the biggest thing is remembering what your 20% is. The few lead to the many.
Get on the James Shaw thing at 6:30 in the morning. It gets motivated.
And if you, to get started too, you can just follow Pivot Shift on Facebook. He's got a Facebook group and people are always like commenting and stuff on there.
I did join that.
It's a good one. It's a good one. Yeah, The One Thing.
Yeah.
That's a great book. That's a great read. Mm-hmm. But it's not about like the hustle mentality or like just grind. It's about like selecting the things that are truly valuable spends of your time. For me, it was not learning a new way to make a TikTok video. That was not a good spend of my time, especially when my daughter spends 18 hours a day making them.
Awesome.
Right? Like she's banging out 47 videos a day. So I'm just like, hey, can you show me how to do this? And right? I know. And same with like the flyers, like AI is getting so good. It's seeing 100 million real estate flyers all day, every day. So for it to make one that is eye catchy and has like, why not? Why not use it? And you can be like, well, I don't want to like get into AI and all that. Cool. Don't just pay Jake to do it and he'll whip it out for you real quick and it's done. Or you can spend 4 hours doing it.
I think being newer, I'm still learning where I will get the most bang for my buck.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still trying to figure out what are the things that I need to be, I mean, I know the calling and I have that kind of narrowed down, but still figuring out what my 80-20, what that is and what that looks like. And, where I need to be focusing that time. And
Mm-hmm.
what I find myself doing is getting very distracted while I'm trying to figure that out.
Yes.
I'm going bang, 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 ping ponging everywhere, kind of being a master of nothing.
Yes. I spent like 5 years doing that. So don't spend 5 years doing it.
Focus on a few things,
Mhm.
get that out there and figure out if that's working. Or
That's one, they talk about that a lot and like at masterminds and stuff is like, like in order to grow a really huge business, really narrow your focus. Don't be like, oh yeah, I do that, I do that, I do that, I do that. Then like, and you're trying to cast a net to everybody. Like, what are you really passionate about? And really focus in on that. And then there's going to be a lot of people that no longer want to work with you, but you're going to get all the right people. And when you have to fire a client, you'll be like, oh yeah, like I have a client right now that it's strategic. And so I'm doing it. However, I'm doing a thing with KW relocation because they don't have a KW relocation specialist in Cass County. And so I sold a house in Clinton and then I helped them buy a house in Clinton, which is a long way from Raymore, right? But I've also driven to Leavenworth, Kansas, and I'd rather drive to Clinton than Leavenworth because at least I'm out of traffic and everything. And so I had an opportunity to help a guy he works for Schreiber Foods in Clinton and they're relocating him there. And I was like, absolutely, I'll take it. KW relocation is a 50% referral fee. I'm like, but I didn't have to pay for the lead or anything. They just brought it to me. Yes, I'll help him. Well, his budget is $250,000. So now when I pay a 50% referral fee, now that 250 budget really means 125 to me. And a bunch of his coworkers were like, you do not want to live in Clinton. And so they were like, you want to live around Clinton, but not in it. So we were looking at houses in Warsaw, Warrensburg, Harrisonville for a $125,000, right? So I'm like, now my strategy there is I'm trying to crush it for KW relocation because there's also executives that get relocated and that one is just below the average sale price. So it's a bummer, but I'm like, that's a terrible use of my time. It's a terrible spend. It's not even really hitting like my minimum business criteria because you'll get to the point where it's like, man, like that type of client, we need them and they are just as important as all of my other clients. And yet my skill set has exceeded their need, right? So it would be better for me to partner with a new agent that is learning and cutting their teeth and I can help them and then they can service that client or even partner with somebody that's in Clinton, but we don't have any KW people really in Clinton, but we have some that are close. So like, yeah. So my point with that is that like, as you start narrowing down your focus, there's going to be some clients that they don't fit what you specialize in. That's when you start building your team out. That's when you start expanding your business or partner with another agent. It's hard to stack like 2 or 3 referral fees on top of each other. So I probably wouldn't have done it with this one, but there are clients that they're just not the best use of your time because of either the geographic location or the travel expense or might even just be a personality mismatch, right? I've had those too where it's like it's really hard for me to believe that I'm not everybody's cup of tea, right? Some people are like, this guy is way too much. I need him to just shut it down a little bit. That's fine. And maybe I could partner with somebody that they would appreciate more.
I've got one of those.
Mm-hmm.
And 5 or 6 or 10 people in our office have said, fire that client.
Yeah.
Fire that
Cut him
client.
loose.
You're wasting your time. Wasting your time.
Yeah.
We put in 3 offers out of the 54 showings we've done.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a lender.
Ah, it's tough.
I want to do a good job with that lender.
Sure.
How many lenders do you get?
Yep.
So
That's true.
sometimes that's like marketing, things like that, like that's marketing money. It's not income, it's like I'm almost spending marketing money to get the next thing.
I think that too, that that sometimes